Hey, and welcome back to Vita versus 3DS. Here we're going to talk about the possibility and the feasibility of Rumble on the Vita and on the 3DS. So, as we know, traditional portables have never had Rumble, and this is for a lot of reasons. First, it could decrease battery life. Second, more importantly, it could actually cause damage to the handheld. The handhelds have a screen, they have, different moving parts and on the inside and very fragile parts, and this could actually cause damage to those parts and not make them work properly. And if you ever held a controller that actually rumbles, those things are sturdy. They're sturdy as hell. And you can't build a portable like that. So, those are just some of the reasons, a couple of the reasons why they've never been traditionally included. But this doesn't change the fact that Rumble has always helped immerse you in the world that you're in a video game. And this is exemplified by Sony on the PlayStation 3 not having Rumble for the first year or so. And so many gamers complain, myself included, it just lacks the immersion that you'd have with a controller that has some feedback on it. And of course, they had that later. They got it later around the time where they got Metal Gear Solid 4, and everything was well again. But again, this is about portables. So I've always wondered what it would be like to have Rumble on a portable, and although this doesn't actually make up for it completely, there is this. This is Sony's Pulse Elite Edition headset, and this basically how this works is that it is their new premium headset. It has all 7.1 surround and it's made for the PS3 and noise canceling and it's a great quality headset. But what makes it unique is that it has actuators inside the earpieces that rumble back and forth to any big bass sound. And this technology is what they call the bass impact technology, is their big magical buzzword. But basically what that means, it's not like having rumble motors inside your headset, which those have existed before. But those are a little bit problematic because they have a little bit of lag between when they hear the sound and when they rumble. They have a startup time, so it's not ideal. So the actuators which react to the bass is actually a lot faster and a lot more accurate than if it were to have rumble. But it did. What I noticed after enjoying it on PlayStation 3 for quite a while, I did look back in the box and I found these guys, which plug right into here, and it said it can hook up to a Vita or an iPod or something like that to enjoy. So I decided one day I was playing Uncharted and I just wanted to hook it up to my Vita to see if it worked, and lo and behold, it did work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just show you guys. First, I'm going to plug this end into here and the other end into my Vita. And then I'm going to turn it on right here. Alright, so of course I can't show you sound, but what I can show you is, like right now I'm holding my hands, I'm firing Drake's gun in the game. And you pretty much could hear that pretty clearly. Every time I fire it, it's vibrating in my hands. And it's a different kind of vibrate than you feel on a controller. Like, it's not like that rumble sound you feel. It's different, but it feels really, really good, especially when it's on your head. It's totally something else. Sound quality is great. It works really well for these types of games. Other Vita games that it works well with are Resistance, especially Resistance, because there's not much music in Resistance. Call of Duty for the same reason, the upcoming Call of Duty. Lumines, if you change it to the music setting, it has a mode here, you can change it to a music setting. It works fantastic with Lumines. It's having it vibrate to the bass of songs is really, really cool. Uncharted, it does work well. Of course, the only problem with Uncharted is that Uncharted has lots of music, and some of that music is really bass heavy, and sometimes that triggers the bass impact. So you could have like a bombastic soundtrack with lots of bass and everything, and your head's vibrating and gunshots, and so it could get a little distracting. But other than that, it does work very, very well in Uncharted. So as for 3DS games, what I have running here, of course, is Resident Evil. Let's just plug that in here. Now, at first I thought, since Resident Evil has guns and it has explosions and it has lots of cool stuff, that it would work really well. But then I discovered that this game is rather on the quiet side. So of course I have it all plugged up here. Let's turn up the sound so you can hear the rain hitting. So I'm gonna fire this gun. Yeah, you can hear it, and it is kind of vibrating. Like, you can kind of hear it, but you don't really feel it. So I'm gonna switch guns. Let's switch to the shotgun. See if there's a difference. Yeah, you kind of feel a little bit, but it's not as much as it is on Uncharted or Resistance from what I've played. But it does kind of like bring the immersion. Like you can feel it a little bit when you fire those guns. You know, sniper rifle. Let's see. No, you're not really feeling it with that. But anyway, aside from that, like the thunder in the background, you know you feel it in your ears, and it does help you immerse in the world. It does. The game does benefit for having these. Um, Other 3DS games that it works well with is Metal Gear Solid 3. It works really, really well with Metal Gear Solid 3. I was really impressed with that. Um, and probably other games. You can think of it of yourself. Like think of it yourself. Like just think of games that don't have a lot of ambient music in the background or a lot of at least bass heavy ambient music, and then you know with like gunshots or things like that, and it works really well. I would always recommend having it on the game setting, which is the default setting, because some of the other settings like the racing setting I find doesn't work very well. And anyway, we'll go into that a bit later. So games that it doesn't work well for. On Vita, I tried it for Need for Speed, and the engines don't have enough bass to them, so you don't. It's supposed to it advertise in the trailer that you can hear you can feel where the cars are coming from, and you don't. You don't. It reacts more to the music than anything else. Um, you know, Unit 13 it worked well for Vita, but not as well as Uncharted. And yeah, so pretty much all action games as well on Vita doesn't work really well for because the sound of a sword hitting somebody or a punch or a kick, they're not really bass heavy and they're not made for this. So pretty much only shooters I would advise for Vita. For 3DS, it doesn't work well with Kingdom Hearts, any of the Mario games, pretty much because there's just way too much music and you can't disable the music, which is unfortunate. So I would again for Vita for 3DS I would only use it for games with like they're very gun heavy and have you know like lots of explosions and things like that. Another downside, of course, which I haven't talked about to the end, is the price factor. This is a premium headset with a premium price. It's $150, which is pretty much the price of the 3DS as is, and you know more than half the price of the Vita. Um, as such, it's not for everyone, and I would only recommend this to people who could use it on a PlayStation 3, who actually want, like how I did. I bought it for PlayStation 3 and then randomly discovered that it can work for creating Rumble for these two devices. I would not buy it unless you have a lot of money to burn. I would not buy it just to have Rumble for these systems, especially considering it doesn't even work that well for most games. So yeah, if you have a PS3 and you want to buy this, um, keep in mind you can use it as a perfectly good headphone set for your systems as well. I think it's worth the money. I think it's awesome on PlayStation 3, and the fact that it can add Rumble onto these two systems is an added benefit. So yeah, that's it. For anybody who wants to go out and pick it up, please go do so and enjoy the games that I recommended here. If anybody else has it and has tested out other games and that it works well for, please let people know in the comment section below. Please let me know in the comment section below. I'd much appreciate it. Anyway, thanks guys. Bye.